In Conversation with Terry Shepard, award-winning broadcaster, narrator, and author. A deep dive into the writer's craft with the artists and support systems who create the stories we love.
What happens when a fearless entrepreneur, award-winning designer, and board game innovator turns her sights on empowering the next generation? You get Charms, a dazzling young adult book series that blends invention, adventure, and a little bit of magic. Today, we're joined by the extraordinary Loxley Brown. As the founder of Athenian, a groundbreaking stream education platform, and a leader known for turning challenges into triumphs, Loxley brings the same solution-driven spirit to her fiction. At the heart of Charms is 15-year-old Addie McAllister, a curious, gutsy teen whose life is anything but ordinary. With a rocket scientist mom and a covert ops dad and an aunt who's always uncovering long-buried secrets, Addie's story unfolds in a world where science and imagination go hand in hand. Loxley Brown, welcome to the conversation. It's great to talk with you.
Thank you. That was a great introduction. Absolutely love that. So thank you for putting that together.
My pleasure. Why are you doing this?
All of us have that little kid inside of us, regardless of our age. And to me, it's just really important to help those young ones become that incredible Renaissance woman, which means you learn a plethora of skills. And it might not be, oh, Mom, by the way, I want to be an electrical engineer. But today, Mom is going to make you go sew something and learn how to cut out a pattern. Is that going to help you be an electrical engineer? You will find that out. But pattern making and learning different things like that are so helpful across the board. With these books, my big goal is for little girls and little boys, everybody who wants to read them, even adults are eating them up. Just see how each book has its thing that it's focusing on. And it really helps to show how, as a teenager, as this little 15-year-old Addie, the inventor, discovers, it'll also help those who are reading it. Take Charge is all about time management, the ABC method, and using the traffic light system. Things that most of us as adults go, we know this already, but we have to remember that teenagers don't know it. They aren't practicing it. They have not been doing it for 30 years. So I have to make it really simple and easy for them to understand this is how my mom got so organized. So if I try doing this and I download the sheet that goes along with book number 2 and I learn all of these different steps in time management, then it's going to help me become a more inspiring leader. And the important thing in schools right now is for the students to really stand out and to start to show their strengths, and becoming a leadership professional as a teenager is extremely important. So each one of the books has this great story that goes along with it. It's almost, if you use the analogy of the other girl organizations that are out there and they get patches or they get badges, each book is basically that. They're learning a life skill. They're really honing in on it. It really helps them to develop more about themselves.
Part of the appeal of Charms for me is how Addie's world blends science, tech, mystery, and a touch of magic. How do you strike a balance between realism and imagination?
That's really hard for me sometimes because I really have a big imagination and I love throwing that teenage magic in there. I was really big into history, always have been from the time I could start reading. It was always biographies and how do I really start to discover how people in the past have done what they've done. And so I bring a lot of history into this, and that's why the Aunt Loxley in this book is always researching something. She's going into the special book section of Carnegie Mellon. She's taken off over to Scotland to do some research on the Helios group that's being uncovered throughout the 6 books in the series. So each one of the books has its own special character that's being revealed. So along with learning a life skill, you're going down this whole history and mystery path that opens up as each book comes out. And it's really great from a family theme too, because this is my version of the new family, where you have, and it's not common here in the United States, but in Europe, you have all generations living together in one roof or one piece of property. As the young kids get to experience their aunts and uncles being around, or their grandparents are there, a favorite neighbor that just part of the family is there. So I'm bringing that dynamic into this book series too, so that all of the children who read it start to see how it really is easy to talk to an adult. You shouldn't be scared to talk to an adult. How you can take a certain problem or situation and go talk to Mr. Collins, Addie's next door neighbor, who helps her really start to become more of an inventor and learn how to use tools. And she helps him repair his lawnmower so that he lets her mow his lawn for him because she repaired the lawnmower. Things like that, where a 15-year-old is working with somebody who's 80 years old, and that knowledge is being passed down. And I think that's really important for our teenagers to learn too, is talk to your favorite uncle and get knowledge from him. Talk to your grandparents and get knowledge from them, and blend this all together into this great family that surrounds you.
Writing a great book is just the beginning of the whole journey. How do you connect your ideas with an audience?
A lot of these, and I've been asked, when did you become a writer? How do you write? How do you do it? I just sit down and I have this path that I'm going down, and I'll think about when I was in third grade and I was reading my Ranger Rick and learning about Egyptian hieroglyphics, and I wrote my third grade boyfriend a note in hieroglyphics. I bring that story into this story, like things that happened to me as a kid or things that I did. I incorporate a lot of those into this book series because it's like my way of just helping people to see that all of these funny stories really are real life. But then also just the fun of, there's all this magic layered in everything that we do. And a lot of people just dismiss it now. And they go, oh, it was just supposed to happen that way. Or I always love to create these stories where you want to turn the page and figure out what's happening next. Or you put down this book and you're like, okay, Jackson was just in a crash. What's going to happen? How is Ray going to handle this? And we just found out this big blockbuster news about Ray and what happened to her in her past. So all of these different layers come together and they just form this great magic around the story.
Loxley Brown is our guest. We're talking about her series, the Charm series. Her website is LOXLEYBROWNE, LoxleyBrown.com. We live in a world where everybody's consuming things on screens. How do we encourage people to read more books?
I've created, if you go to the charmsbookseries.com, it has everything listed there. There's the bookstore where all the books are. There's fun, silly stuff that the kids always want. And the one thing that I know parents want is a way to be able to talk to their kids. And there are questions that can be downloaded with each book. And there's also a downloadable activity for each book. So as you consume the book, as you go out there on Amazon, you purchase that book, which helps to support our nonprofit Athenian. You then also have all of these extra layers that are involved with it that you go ahead and download as you're purchasing the book. So you get some precursors as to what you can talk about with your daughter or your son or your niece or your nephew as they're reading this book. And the thing that I love the most about this book, I'm a very graphic person. Like I design everything. So yes, I designed all these books and I designed them on graph paper with places for everybody who buys them to write down their thoughts. They answer questions. They can sketch out ideas. It's very, to me, kind of antiquity type scrapbook looking, like what I used to do. I'm Gen X, so I'm going to give that away. We used to scrapbook all the time. We would take pictures back when we actually used real cameras, and we would put all of these great montages together to tell our story of what we did that summer. And these books are very much like that. So you get to write down what you're thinking about, what inspires you. If you want to design your big contraption for the Shark Tank pitch that she does in book 1, there's space for you to draw that out, for you to talk about what you would design if you were going to do a Shark Tank presentation in school, or if your Aunt Loxley took you on a no devices allowed vacation. So no screen time. And you have to talk the entire time, and you really start brainstorming and discussing as you're driving from Rocket City up to Mount Vernon to see how George Washington used to plant and what he did as a farmer while he was also a president. So there's all of these things that are combined, and this is a great book for students to get now and to really dive into, to consume it, because you're going to retain more information when you write it down. So that's another thing that I want you to do, is write down your thoughts, because then you're going to remember it. Then that becomes a goal that you're going to aspire to. And when you come back as an adult and you read these books that you wrote in as a teenager, the things that you wrote down are going to stick in your brain, and they're going to inspire you to go out there and make them happen. So that's why I want everybody to buy a book and write in it. I know you're not supposed to write in books normally, but these books were designed to write in. So I want you to do that, okay? Parents, it's okay for your kids to write in these books.
If you were to bring all of the characters in the Charmed series around a table with you, what advice would they give you about getting these important books in front of more eyeballs?
They would tell me to drink more caffeine because I don't drink enough. And we would have the music going on in the background. Each one of us has a theme song. Mine is Unstoppable. They would also just say to network, for everybody to tell everybody. Get out there and go to charmsbookseries.com. See what's happening. Read Addie's journal, because Addie has a journal online, so you can get her vibe of what she's thinking about, what she's talking about. And then tell everybody. It's so important for us to communicate. And communication is a big part of the book series, too. It's really helping teenagers learn how to communicate well and to help with their public speaking presentation. We all need that assistance. The reason I can do it so easily now, I can jump up on a stage at any point, give a keynote whenever it's needed. I fill in when necessary. And it's because I have been public speaking. My very first time I was on TV, I was in 6th grade. And so I've got a long history behind me. But a lot of these students now don't get quite the same experiences. You've got to get out there and practice. So all of this is in the books. It really helps you to deep dive into learning those life skills that are needed, just that kind of common sense foundation that really helps everybody grow into their individualized, great versions of themselves.
Brilliant. It's a book series that everybody should be reading. I highly recommend it. You can learn more about our guest, Loxley Brown, at loxleybrown.com. And you can learn more about Addie by reading the Charm series. The Charm series books.com is the website for that.
Please go out there and take a look at Addie. She's going to become your new best friend. You're going to meet Jenny, her best friend, and Ray, who comes into the picture in book 3. So we just keep adding new characters. There's plot twists that happen all the time. And then for those teens who want to go even deeper with all of this, we have the Secret Book Society. Not so secret when I say that, but it is the Secret Book Society that all revolves around charms, helps you dive into it even more, and helps me to write the book. So it's a really fun gathering of like-minded teens who are out there doing what they can to change the world.
What's next for you?
I am working on next year's continuations of the series. I believe we're going to start off in Scotland. So I believe I probably need to go to Scotland for the first time ever to check out the surroundings, learn more about the culture of the people and that lovely landscape that I can't wait to see. But we're also going to look at a couple of other locations, and we're going to go really deep dives into certain career paths, into very skilled laborers, into what it takes to really get your hands dirty and move the world. So we're going to see this series continue to evolve. Addie is always going to be that 15-year-old inventor out there trying new things. So you will see how her life continues to grow and get deeper and deeper as she learns more skills.
Loxley Brown is our guest. The website, loxleybrown.com. Thanks for the conversation.
Thank you. It's great, as always, being on here with you.
In Conversation with Terry Shepard is a copyrighted presentation. All rights reserved. I'm Lisa Davis. Join Terry Shepard next time in Conversation.